Hey now.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. What's up, friends? We are back and it is reality recap time.
Yes, it is. I'm Kendrin.
What's up? It is Deja.
I don't know
And
if you can see our names on the screen.
yeah, you should be able to, but in case you don't know how to pronounce it, because black people, black names be a little different sometimes. It's Deja, like deja vu, and sis Kendrin. What you drinking, child?
So I was in the kitchen and I was doing one of your numbers like this don't taste right, and then had to add.
That's how it be.
I was feeling a chai tea sort of vibe, and so I added some of the. I was really on your vibe today because I added some vanilla crown.
Oh, well, we crowning it out today because I got a hot toddy with vanilla crown.
Great minds. But yes, so it's like a chai latte, but with almond milk or whatever, but then with the crown vanilla. Well, it's the almond vanilla, almond vanilla creamer or whatever.
Okay,
anyways,
that sounds delectable.
Hot toddy, we're on the same page here.
So shout out to our good sis who follows us over on Twitter, who was like, "Y'all slow. We need to get into the conversation,
girl.
We need to work on that.
Thank you, girl. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna jump right in. And just a note for people who are watching back, we always put the timestamps below. So if you are into one show and not the other, or you hear and you like, girl, Love and Marriage Huntsville, I don't have that channel. It's always below.
For sure.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get into it so we not wasting no more time.
Yes.
What do you want to start with?
Let's start hot. Let's go hot. Let's do Potomac.
Let me tell you, girl, them Potomac girls, this Chesapeake extravaganza has been taking me down. Like, the hilarity is all around, and I'm here for it. Karen is still my girl. Karen is the grand dame, and she just tickles me. She's funny as shit.
I agree. She tickles me as well. But also, like, as a Virginia native, all this jaunting around Virginia that they're doing, I'm just like, this is not rise to the level of what we had expected and anticipated. But I'm going to give grace because of COVID,
That part. I was like, they down to the Chesapeake, but also they're in like the DMV, so they can hit the Chesapeake in Maryland.
Yeah, of course.
So I was confused. I always have to remember that because like going home to New Jersey as a kid, like we always would go over that huge bridge.
Right. Yeah. No, there's levels to it. The Chesapeake Bay is ginormous, and it's like,
yeah. But it's still like, girl, they was in Williamsburg. Child, I worked where they were at. Right. Ain't nothing there.
Girl,
no shade to the Berg people.
And that's no shade from two people who are from 757. So like,
hello. Okay. That's why we don't live there anymore. Quiet as a cat.
So not quiet. Be loud about it, child. Be loud.
So, okay. Things for starters, things that really took me out. G, I'm gonna just call him Captain G, okay? Captain G is on another level, whether he is drinking or whether he is sober. It don't make a bit of a difference because he had all the smoke in the morning when they was talking about not having no service. And it was like, well, girl, hello, y'all drove up and parked your vehicle. What kind of service did you think was going to happen? And then he was like, well, I got breakfast for me and Mia. I ain't cooking for all these people. I don't know. That's old blackness. I ain't cooking for all these people. I don't know how to do all of that. Like, okay.
It's like, well, if you can cook for one, if you can cook for the two of y'all, just put some more bacon in the pan when you done. What you mean?
Like, what you talking about? And then my thing is, y'all had a chef in the house. Like, why was y'all trying to cook the food anyway? Why y'all didn't call Chris on down the stairs?
Also that, like, I'm sure they have a catering budget and stuff. They could have paid Chris to do the catering of the function. Or hired some of his folks to come do the catering of the function.
Hello, that part. And Chris, from what's been said, he is a great chef. So, like, what's going on? What is going on? He could have been in there chefing it up and having y'all a good old Southern style breakfast.
And bringing some more income into the home. And
hello?
Which is not to say that, nothing is going on, but it was COVID. So it's like restaurants are shut down. Yeah, like restaurants are shut down and all of that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, restaurants and stuff were shut down, and he was assisting Candiace because it seemed like he didn't have a whole lot going on. So they could have gave him that little catering budget.
Hello, that part. Play that man. And we're not trying to imply, Chris, if you ever see our show, that you don't be getting paid. We're just thinking smart and not hard. Like, common sense would have been to give you the budget because you are a chef and can cook for a large party of people. So, like, that's all, boo.
Yeah, no shade. It was no shade.
Like, you like Chris.
We are actually like saying they should have paid you for your services, and you could have got a little check and a little piece of vacation. That's all.
When you get down to that reunion, make sure you tell them people that.
If we had to suffer through, if we had to suffer through all of these launch parties and for various non-alcohols and clothing lines with no fashions, they could have gave Chris the budget. Hello?
How dreadful.
How dreadful.
Woo, girl. So, okay, so we moved past breakfast. Oh, before we skip past breakfast, the thing that took me down to the ground was Miss Mia and strutting around in her lingerie. And I'm like, baby girl, you don't do that type of shit around other people's husbands. That is not okay. I understand that she was in a strip club, sis, and that is the norm for the stripperella, but not like on a Potomac Housewives cash trip. That's not okay.
Not a couple's trip. If she had done it with all the girls in the house, I would have been fine, but like not with other people's spouses. There's something about that doesn't sit well with my spirit.
That's just like, speaking of old school black, this is old school black coming out of me. You just don't do that.
Yeah.
Like when you go and visit someone and you are single, or not even, if you go and visit someone and like you said, a couple trip, you're going to be dressed more decently, even though like it almost looked like it was like a swimsuit. So, but nonetheless, girl, you're not swimming in this and we're not outside. Like, what is going on? We're not laid out anywhere for you to just be scantily clad.
It was much. It was much to me. And that was my first reaction. But this is an aside. You know, like these days it's like you're slut shaming. And I'm like, I'm really not. I'm just saying
I'm not slut shaming. I'm just saying you look tacky.
When you're on a couple trip, it's kind of tacky. It's kind of tacky to be tooting around in your lingerie. To me, it was just tacky. That's all.
It's giving very tacky.
Mm-hmm.
This phone needs to charge. Come on here.
So, okay, G was doing the most. We agree on that. I'm trying to think what was the highlights. Robyn and Gizelle leaving in the middle of the night. Again, I still didn't see a problem with what they did, but I do have I see a difference in how Robyn approached the situation versus how Gizelle approached the situation. Like Gizelle, even in the boat ride, which we'll get to, but even with the boat ride, Robyn was like, Wendy, it was no shade towards you. It's just I had certain requirements and this didn't meet it. And even Robyn said in the confessional, she was like, we were late. So it's like she didn't owe us anything really. Mm-hmm. So she was like, it just wasn't up to snuff for what I needed this weekend, with her being on her period and stuff. And she was just like, I just wanted to go somewhere else. And that was it. Whereas Gizelle, I felt like was very much like
Queen Gizelle, you didn't kiss my feet.
Like,
girl, shut up.
Well, Wendy didn't. And the host didn't. And I'm like, girl.
Say love drama. Because at the end of the day, you said that you wasn't coming. So who was making preparations for two people that said they weren't coming onto the trip? Like, girl, shut up.
Correct. And I think Wendy's response was different to Gizelle than it was to Robyn. Like when Robyn said what she said, Wendy was very much like, oh no, I mean, she was like, no, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. But when Gizelle was like, she was like, well, why would I do? And I'm like, okay. That's the difference. Like words mean things. That's what we mean when we say that. It's like you see it live and in action. Two people who had the same feeling about a situation said two different things and got two different responses. As
they should have.
So
what is it? Like you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes?
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite phrase right now. I'll be like, you play dumb games. You win dumb prizes.
I understand. I also, even though Gizelle with her antics was a lot, I also understood her wanting to be in a room where she didn't have to go up and down the stairs to get to the restroom. I get it. Like, I'm not mad at that. That makes a whole lot of sense. But like the dramatics that was added onto it, as though, like I said before, Wendy was supposed to kiss her feet when she entered the room. Like nobody's doing that for you, sis. You need to find somebody that will worship you like that.
Exactly. And like, that's what I mean when I was saying about Robyn. It's like, if she had just been like, Wendy, like, thank you for allowing us to come, even though we said we weren't. This just doesn't work with my boot, so we're going to go down the block. Robyn's on her period. I'm in a boot. I can't come up and down the stairs, so we're just going to do something else. I think Wendy would have received that very differently than, and she didn't even have that. And it was like, okay, girl.
Like, girl.
All right.
If you don't got it, then go find your own accommodations. I am surely one of those people that's going to do that.
Yeah.
So I've been talked out of finding my own accommodations before, which was not pleasant, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was just dumb. The whole entire thing of it was just dumb. So what else was there?
I hear that damn scraping, but sorry, y'all.
Yeah, thankfully the dog stopped barking. By the way, I'm not just like bored and looking down. I'm looking at my notes or my tweets.
Oh yeah, same. I have my phone died right before we started, y'all.
Yeah. So no, go ahead.
Let's talk about what. So I watch those of you that may know this or may not. I watch an Instagrammer, or not Instagrammer, a YouTuber. Her name is For It's Rocks, and she calls Karen's husband Uncle Jessup. And so I cannot unsee it. And I literally was just about to say, so let's talk about Uncle Jessup. Listen, Roxanne from For It's Rocks here on YouTube is hysterical. Y'all gotta watch her. Yeah. But so Uncle Jessup came in with the jokes. And when he said, well, why didn't you break her neck? Or how is it that you missed her neck? Girl, that was good. That was good.
That was good. That was good. And everybody was laughing, including Gizelle. She was kind of like, I don't want Ray to die. I want him to live so we can continue to laugh together. And I thought that was very
cute. Yeah. Because I feel like they've always had their own little chuckles at Karen's expense.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like here, it wasn't at Karen's expense. It was just, like banter for the group at Giselle's expense. But it was still a good sport. And I appreciated that.
Yeah. I like that.
Yes. Shout out to Rocky and the goddamn Uncle Jessup.
Make sure you drop that information down in the description box too, because
for sure. I'll make sure to do that.
Okay. So let's move on to this raggedy ass boat ride.
Girl.
The
Triangles made an appearance with Candiace.
They did, but you know what? I was actually proud of Candiace because the conversation she had with Mia was very mature.
It was.
It was very like, I accept responsibility. I shouldn't have said that. I did not know. Like, very much, this was my thing. And it didn't feel, it was hurtful for it to be called low budget. Because I think a lot of times Candiace just reaches out when she's hurt. Like, she lashes out when she should just say, like, I ain't like that, or that hurt my feelings.
I mean, I'm not mad at her for doing that, but it's always like, I feel like somebody might have said in the confessionals, and I don't remember who, but like, it's always like you attack people, and then when it's time for you all to have the conversation, you cry in tears. And it's like, but girl, like, say all of that with your chest, both when you are having the conversation after the fact and in the moment. Because it just makes her constantly look like she's playing the victim. And that shit is annoying.
Oh, no, I agree. She definitely plays the victim, but the maturity of that conversation really felt like growth to me.
Growth.
It felt like growth to me. And because sometimes she'll be like, nah, I'm not sorry, and I'm not apologizing, and I'm doubling down, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Like how she has, right, like how she has interacted with Ashley and the whole thing with the slave and slave master and all of that. And it's just like, you could just apologize because that's inappropriate. And she doesn't do that.
She don't. But I mean, she's also like a staunch Sagittarian, and they often don't, like, they're not going to apologize if they don't feel like they did anything wrong. They don't see it. You can't convince them. They're not apologizing. So the fact that she gave Mia an apology, I'm like you said, gross.
Yeah. It was an apology, and it was heartfelt, the heartfelt conversation leading into the apology. Because again, it can be very like, I'm sorry that made you feel.
Girl, I hate that. Don't ever say, I'm sorry that it made you feel that way, because that's not an apology. That's not even taking accountability for your part in upsetting somebody that you're now apologizing to. Like, that's just basically saying, I'm sorry, but you can still kiss my ass.
Right. But she did not lead with that. So I was proud of her on that regard.
Yeah. So let's talk about Sister Mia. Things that I can appreciate is that she was absolutely like, don't attack my mom, attack me. I'm fine with that. You can attack me, but don't attack my mom.
Yeah.
And of course, her sharing her story and like what her mom's story is, and being able to be that open and vulnerable. But like, just when she give you such good like energy, like you be like, oh yes, boo, you did that. I'm so proud of you. Then she come back with the mess, and she is always like reimagining conversations and then going back to give the bone, but it's like a reimagined version of what the conversation actually was. And I'm just like, child, what is going on? Like,
reimagining is generous for what she does.
Well, they are saying that she be embellishing, and I'm like, I mean, they're equal, but it's just like, child, no, that's not.
Like, it's like somebody on Twitter was saying this to me. It's like she don't be lying, but she gets right up on the line of like you took that.
She lying.
No, I think no, I don't think she lies. She just takes stuff out of context. For this situation, she took it completely out of context. And for the situation with Gizelle, she had the energy right. The energy was right, because Gizelle was like, she was like, oh, you're a something bitch, and Gizelle was like, I didn't say that. But what she said implied what Mia said. So she was doing an interpretation. But this time it was like,
she said, I misinterpreted, or I had interpreted it as
correct.
Like, girl, what? That ain't what was said. Don't do that.
What was said. And then this time with Robyn, I was like, you just ran with that little piece of, you wasn't a part of the conversation. And I was like, Robyn didn't even say that. She said that the relationship had changed, and it has. I think Wendy would agree with that.
I feel like, so Mia and her mess aside, I feel like that situation with Robyn and Wendy is so trivial. It's so stupid. Like, Robyn was drunk. Wendy was mad. She's not taking into account that, like Robyn was out here on a limb just holding on, okay? Because sis had been drinking more than all of the rest of you. So she, at the time that the breakdown happened, she didn't really know who said what or what the hell was happening. I'm sure she didn't even know where she was.
Probably not.
Like,
Robyn was big drunk. Not little drunk, big drunk.
Yes. And I'm like, even though that the back and forth between them was very stupid, I don't think that they should still be beefing off of what was said.
Yeah. I also hope that the girls learn how to take Mia with a grain of salt, because she embellishes or lies or whatever, as whatever you just said she does.
Reimagines the conversation.
She does, those three things depending on who you ask. So, I hope they learn to take her with a grain of salt. And it seemed like at the end, they were like, Lord, Mia came up here and started some mess again. So I think they have reached a point where they're like, okay, girl, maybe not exactly what Mia said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, how do you feel about a scholar? One thing I would say, that boat look, she was giving old Hollywood glam, and I loved it. She looks so cute. But how do we feel about a scholar now? Because it always seems, and I'm saying that because it always seems that a scholar is coming to be the peacemaker in situations where she should just be the bystander. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
But in this instance, I don't know that I felt that she should have been the bystander, but it just seemed like it was a lot, because it was constantly a scholar trying to start this conversation.
Yeah. I like a scholar.
I do.
I like her, so I'm gonna let her cook. And I don't feel like she does anything terribly offensive, so I'm gonna just let her cook.
She doesn't do anything terribly offensive, but sometimes it'd be annoying, because, like, girl, you basically get the fire started.
I agree with you there.
If your friend told you downstairs that she don't want to have this conversation and she's not open to it, and it just is what it is, and that's what the hell it is. until you see another opportunity where Robyn is saying, you know what, I would like to sit down with Wendy and see if we can hash out what happened. But like this coming back up to the group where you got one person reimagining conversations, another person always on ready, set, go, and the damn victim. And you know, ready, set, go was Wendy. Mia is
Wendy gets on my nerves with that. The Wendy gets on my nerves with that. And I'm going to be honest, as a, you know, darker skinned Black woman, I am careful about calling people things like aggressive or defensive, and that has been used against me at times. But Wendy actually is like Wendy. Every time you say something
in the reunion last year, and it's like,
she
girl,
just
you set yourself up for that.
Yeah, she's like, pew, and I'm like, girl, wait,
where you going?
Wait, where are you going? Even the thing with Robyn, like when Mia brought that back, she was like dressing Robyn down. Even Robyn wasn't even in the room to defend herself. And she's like, well, she hasn't changed in the blah, blah, blah. I was like, girl, now what was
she really be doing a lot. And it's like, but also Wendy is as equally sensitive as she is like, I don't want to call her aggressive. I don't want to give her that narrative.
No.
But her behavior can be that at times.
Yeah.
So it's like 50-50. Either she's one way or she's the other way. And I would love to see her just get in the middle somewhere. But yes. Like, if you're not accustomed to this environment, I don't know that it's easy to walk the middle like a Gizelle.
Fair.
You know?
But I think Wendy needs to figure out how to be considerably less bothered about everything, because she is just not entertaining to watch. Like, she is just, it's just too much all the time. Joy says that she's extremely defensive, and I agree with that. But it's like, every little thing she's going to take it and go with it, and it's not entertaining. Sometimes you throw light shade and you move on. Sometimes you just be like, girl, bye. And that's what I'm hoping that they learn how to start doing with Mia. Be like, Mia, girl, is that what was really said or no? Did you make that up? You added to that? Was that razzle or was that dazzle, Mia?
Mia, girl, what do you say? But the thing about it is, she be so tickled with herself when she does that. Like, girl,
she does.
Like, what is going on? Shut up, sis. Just
Mia
shut up.
isn't my favorite, but she's good for this show. Like, she's a good, she has a good feel for how to get the girls going and be, and then she also can fall back and be like, I mean, I might have added a little piece.
Okay, so I changed it around a little bit, I mean, this is how I felt like it was sounding, so like that's where this came from.
It felt like that, but I mean, she might not have used those exact words.
That's not what you said, right? But that's how it felt. So I wanted to convey the feeling. Like, sis, don't do that. Mia gonna have people ready to box.
And that's really what it is.
All right. Girl, all right, who else we gotta talk about?
Love and Marriage Huntsville, or you want to go Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Joy, what you feeling, girl, since you out here in the comments? Hey, boo.
Oh, we also have Ready to Love. It wasn't a whole lot other than that. Well, we can do that right quick while Joy is giving her opinion.
Yeah, let's do Ready to Love. So you caught the casting special.
I caught the first episode.
So the casting special isn't the casting special was up, I think, last week. So I had already watched that. And then they put the two together to talk about was a 2-hour premiere, and it's not. Joy. So down in the comments, friends, one of our friends, Joy, is saying that Ready to Love is crusty. And that's one of our friends that's up there. So do you know any of the people?
Oh, good question. Do you know any of those people?
Yes, girl, give us the tea.
Question.
But yeah, so the casting special, basically I threw up a question today on the Instagram asking whether or not who you was gunning for, like who's going home early, Boots, and who you think is gonna stay to the end. For me, I don't know. I have no, looking at the folks, the only person I knew for sure that had to go home was the 100 First Dates, and that's his name from here on out. And so he's off the show.
I don't have any feelings about the people. I will say, I don't know the people, but I will say, I think the people are equally matched in terms of career, age, and like physical features. Because I feel like there have been seasons where I'm like, why do y'all have all these young women up here? These older men.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have like a couple of younger women and a bunch of like older women, but of course these men being the type of people they are, they always flock to the young, like thinking of Atlanta, where Alexis had all of the head spinning, and she was like 33, and all the other women were like at least 5 years older than her. So that bugged me. And so I feel like it's better balanced. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. You know, we might have breaking news.
Yeah. I'm asking for details, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm like, what happened?
Let us know if you want to come on and chat with us.
Hello.
Throughout this season.
Yes, please do. That would be funny. I'm like, because I need to tap into my people that might we're responding to our girl in the comments. But yes, I might have to tap into some of my DMV folk who live up there, who be dating and carrying on, because I'm sure there's plenty of folks that know these people.
For sure. And somebody knows.
I'm not far. I'm what, 2 hour and a half, 2 hours tops.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, I'm not impressed I'm not like, terribly impressed by anybody yet, but you know, we'll see.
So people that I felt like off rip should have went, of course, 100 First Dates and Lamont, because like, why you bust out in a sonnet in the middle of a conversation with
that was the one for me. That was the one for me. That was just like,
he's out of here. And
the one that was running around asking everybody for their phone number to set up a time to date.
Yes, that's 100 First Dates.
Oh, that's him?
Yes.
Oh. They didn't kick him off yet. They didn't kick him off.
They didn't kick him off, no, but he should have been out of here.
Only because Lamont was worse, frankly. He's next.
He should be.
Yeah.
But the woman that I thought should have went that didn't. I mean, they sent home Libba.
I thought she should go.
I did. I just felt like Libba just wasn't. The guy was like that she was too bubbly for him, and I'm like, I don't know that it was. Like, really, she was too bubbly. Like, what is wrong with being bubbly? I don't understand. I don't think that was it. Libba's ass was just weird.
She was just weird.
She was giving me Mary vibes from Salt Lake City. Just strange and just like wide-eyed and like this all the time for no reason.
What?
Like, what's going on? Are you okay, sis?
Yeah.
Can you see it? Like, why are you like? And then Carrie, who was the first woman that 100 First Dates spoke to, Carrie just gave me like boring. Like she wasn't. Like she was. It seemed to me that like she was confused as to how she got on the show. Oh, no. Excuse me, Lord. I feel like I'm catching a tingle.
Oh no! Don't nobody got time for that.
No.
All right. Well, we don't have a lot to say about Ready to Love. It just started. So if you guys are watching now, and you haven't started watching Ready to Love, we're gonna recap it. So get on board.
Please do. We'll be in the show next week.
Yes. All right. We're going to Beverly Hills because Joy said that's what she want to do next.
Girl, off rip. So the notes that I have, I don't even need to look at. I think
we can have a disagreement about this, but go ahead.
I'm not here for how not Gizelle, Lord have mercy, how Garcelle was spoken to, and how they dismissed her experience as like a Black woman on this show. I understand that we watch these shows for the purposes of like entertainment and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But if for Garcelle and Rinna, who have had the longest friendship, which is what they've made mention to, they've had the longest friendship, for it to be said to you that someone told your friend that you felt a way about her bringing race into the conversation, I feel like she should have addressed it in a way that was like, well, first, I did not say that. And second, I'm sorry that you were hurt by lies that were told to you. I would never say anything like that, as opposed to the way in which she went about it. It was just unnecessarily aggressive, and it came off as like Karening to me.
Yes, Joy. Joy says this is why I want my shows segregated, and I also want them segregated. And we have a video about that for the girls who haven't seen it. Okay, I want to say this. Oh, for sure. Joy also says, I don't believe they're really friends. I think they're entertainment friends. And that is absolutely the case, because there is no way on God's green earth that somebody as perceivably real as Garcelle would be friends with a Rinna in real life, period.
No. Friends and associates.
Associates at best. But yes, I agree. I did not like how they talked to Garcelle, and I got some special words for Dorit. But I'm gonna be honest, I hate to do this because Rinna really, really grates my spirit on a visceral level.
I'm like, is you finna agree with this bit?
Lightly, yeah. Because if that was coloring Garcelle's opinion of Rinna all season, and more reasons why she didn't trust her, and if that was the purpose for her turning cold towards Rinna, she should have told her. And she should have said it before the reunion. And also, like, you're like, oh, well, this person such and such and such and such and such told me. And it's like, okay, well, who said that? Who said that?
Yeah. I mean, I understand that. I don't necessarily disagree with that thought, but considering that they already had a contentious relationship, I don't imagine that and as she did would say anything, and didn't say anything.
Yeah. So, but do I believe Rinna said it? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do too. And do I believe that Rinna was saying that she didn't say it so she could save face because she don't want to be painted as a Karen on that show? Yeah, freaking-lutely.
But you know what? As long as Dorit is there, she's never going to be painted as the Karen.
Girl, because you're sitting right next to her.
Baby, Dorit
terrible.
Is awful. And let me say this. In addition to just being raggedy as hell, she also doesn't have the presence of mind to pick her words. Like Rinna and you see Kyle like trying to say the right thing. Even if she doesn't believe the right thing, you kind of see Kyle trying to say the right thing. Dorit does not have any awareness whatsoever of how much of a racist white woman she sounds like.
Girl, and will swear up and down that ain't the case.
And the thing that really pissed me off is when she was like, oh, I related to you, talking about when Garcelle was, crying and saying that she felt left out. So I'm like, so a black woman got to cry and beg for you to see her in order for you to feel like now you like her and you get her?
Hello?
I can't, I've always disliked Dorit because I just feel like she is a phony and she gets on my nerves. But like this season really drove it home for me. I do not like Dorit whatsoever. And everything she was saying to Garcelle, and even the way she was talking to Garcelle, like Garcelle didn't do anything that all the other housewives and all the other franchises do, which is they keep it cute in person and they talk shit in the confessional. They all do that. So like, why are you trying to hold her to some high standard of like, oh, well, you didn't say it to our face? The only time I really felt like she should have said something to somebody's face, it was Rinna. Right. Everybody else, y'all can catch the smoke in the confessional like everybody else does across franchises.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, that whole argument that Dorit was making about why I keep saying Garcelle not saying things in the moment. Baby, none of you do. And I appreciated that Rinna said that. Rinna basically was like, I mean, all of us do it, whatever. Yeah. Like, you say things in the confessional that you don't say in the moment because, you're not thinking about it. Once you have time to digest what happened, then you pop it up there and you say it.
And I'm looking forward to Erika handing Dorit and Kyle their asses for laughing with their husbands about her situation because they did the same thing. They went behind her back and were snickering with their husbands while they were trying
to their legal teams.
And talking to their legal teams while they were trying to act like they were her best friends. So like, keep it a buck with me. That's all I got on them
100%. Like, child, bye. Don't do it.
That
Do
pissed me
not
off.
do it, girl. That's really all I have for the Housewives reunion, because they didn't really give me a whole lot in this first episode of the reunion.
Yeah.
I know there was a brief moment with Sutton, and she was kind of talking about how she got broken up with on Valentine's Day. I'm like, damn, that is trashy.
Somebody has a song about that, how it's never a good time to break up with people because it's like always a holiday. I think it was John Mayer, actually.
Probably. Because he always
breaks up with a song called Valentine's Day or something like that. It's something like that where it's basically like, what are you going to do in the springtime? Like, that's the only good time to really break up with somebody.
Oh my girl. But it's still, nonetheless, that was jacked up. Like, you don't just, you take somebody on a nice vacation and be like, I can't do this.
Yeah. With no explanation, just like, I can't.
Like, ouch. I'm sorry for you, Sutton, girl. That was terrible. And then the thing that I'm excited to see this week is Kathy with her notes written in Sharpie. Kathy was like, I have a few things to talk about.
Kathy said, I got paper receipts, so
I'm like, damn, she must have been writing. And the gag is that stuff that she had written in Sharpie was written so big because she won't wear her glasses. You literally could see like a word or two when she held it up.
My God,
we're gonna see how that plays out this week.
Joy, did we miss anything? Also, I don't want Garcelle to be back. I mean, I'm fine if they're like cordial, but her and Rinna I don't think they need to be friends.
I don't think so either.
Rinna's a snake, and she brought up 2 different friendships that she's had that she
snaked
that she snaked publicly on this show and aired them both out. And I'm just like, maybe you just don't need your friends on this show. Like, maybe you just play with these other little Beverly Hills white women's.
Hello? Not white women's.
Just saying.
I can't.
What else we got?
Joy said no, this episode week. It was. I agree.
They left it out, to be honest.
And it doesn't need to be 3 parts.
It's 4.
Oh, really?
It's 4 parts.
Oh, no. I'm not going to be watching all 4. I'm sorry. Bad enough I watched the first one.
Somebody on TikTok, I think it was Marche. I think that's how you say her name, Marche Robinson. She's a attorney who like is a content creator. So, that's my lane. I like to follow those girls. But she was like, unless Erika's trial is going to be on the reunion, why are we doing 4 parts? And I have to agree.
Hello, because I'm sure that's not going to be on the reunion. They can't show that.
No,
it'll be public record, and I'm sure like the group, the Bravo docket that you've mentioned before, will cover it. And I'm finna be all in that thing. Let's give us the tea, y'all. Y'all done got me hooked. I got to listen. I got to watch all the stuff they post.
Yeah. The John Mayer song, by the way, is St. Patrick's Day, not Valentine's Day. It's like, so yeah, that was kind of terrible. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it laid the foundation, but I don't think it did all that it needed to do.
We could have skipped past. Well, hopefully we can get the footages on the TV so that we can see what happened.
Correct. All right. What else we got left? Love and Marriage Huntsville? I think that's all we got. Love and
Marriage Huntsville. Are we doing maths this week or Salt Lake City? We can do a little Salt Lake City. Let's throw that in there real quick.
Okay. I didn't watch. So you'll have to carry
the only piece. So I haven't really been watching all that much either. But the thing that really stood out to me that I wanted to talk about is the new girl, Jeannie, and her husband, Dewey. She spoke about, you know what I'm going to say?
Mm-hmm.
She spoke about on the episode last night that she had 13 pregnancies, but only has 3 children. And I was like, oh my God. Like, like there's a one of my hairstylist friends. She has this whole company called Mind Your Own Womb or Mind Your Womb, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that saying also goes for like husbands who just don't even think about it. Like one of the pregnancies, she gave birth to the child and she was alive for an hour, and then that baby passed away. And so she was so disoriented that all she could do, when she came to, Dewey came into the hospital with a shaved head, which is a part of their Vietnamese tradition in mourning the loss of a loved one. And I was like, how do you expect this woman who has lost that many pregnancies and children, period, right? Who has lost that many children and mourned them, to then say, okay, well, I still want more kids. Like, that's so selfish.
It's so selfish. And like the idea that he would ask her to put herself back in harm's way at a more advanced age, because now she's in her 40s. So if this was all happening when she was in her 30s at a better, more viable age for children, you asking her for another baby, the pregnancy might take her out of here. Like,
right. That's especially if she has lost that many. Yeah. Like, and she was saying, like, I don't want to put my body through that, all the complications that we went through. Like, I'm happy with the children that I have. And like, not even, the extremities of her experience. Like, she has 3 children and she don't want to start over. And that's fair enough too, even if she hadn't had all of those kids. Totally. But to Joy's point, when he asked her for a sister wife, like, what? That was so disrespectful too. Like,
it was disrespectful. It was disrespectful, but I kind of gave it a pass just because they're in polygamy capital of the world.
Oh wait, are they in Utah or are they in Colorado?
Salt Lake is Utah.
It's Utah. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I always confuse them.
And I think Whitney, she has a polygamous family, because she said the new girl who was it Heather's friend, or was it, not Heather's friend. It was the one she doesn't get along, Meredith's friend maybe, or either Meredith or Lisa's friend is her cousin, but it's only her cousin because her grandfather had so many wives. So it's like they're cousins down polygamy, basically.
Ew.
So like it was rude, it was wildly disrespectful, but I was like, maybe that was on his mind because Utah,
where they live. That makes it okay.
No, it doesn't make it okay, but he's still disrespectful.
It very much so. It's like you have no respect or honor for your wife.
Yeah.
And her own experiences, because at the end of the day, it's her body that's going through this process, and both of you mourn the loss of the child that came term but still passed away. So like, but you don't understand. I would imagine, and I can't speak for men, but like, I don't think that he understands the magnitude of what it is to feel when you lose a pregnancy. If you lose that life that was growing inside of you, and the bond that you start from the moment that you know that you're pregnant. It's just
pretty horrifying. I have never had the experience, but I've watched people have the experience, and it's pretty horrifying. Yeah. So there was that. I was going to say something else. I don't remember. Well, I was going to say, it reminded me of, I've mentioned it before here, Gabrielle Union, We're Going to Need More Wine. And I know she talked about it even more in the current book, which is There Anything Stronger, I think. Where she had like 8 or 9 miscarriages. And this was all like pre Dwayne Wade going out and having a break baby on her. So
like, there's a feeling of inadequacy. There's a feeling of like, you're not woman enough, and then to have to, call in a surrogate, even if that's what Dewey and Jennie decided to do. Those are still things that she's going to feel, having lost so many babies already.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something she could feel. I mean, it seems like different people, different strokes for different folks, because Candy was like, she seemed perfectly fine to be happy to turn in her card and call up a surrogate. But
I'm speaking in terms of like the similarities in the situations. Like you said, Gabrielle had 10 lost pregnancies, and Jennie basically had 9, because the one child came to term but died. But we can
let's scoot on to Love and Marriage Huntsville. I just have a few thoughts.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Joy says he did ask for a surrogate though, and Girl. So yeah, y'all, if you join us live, you can hop in the comments and we'll throw your comments up on the screen too. So
yes, we will.
Let's get into the Love and Marriage Huntsville, folks. What say you?
My biggest takeaway is finding out that Tisha was pregnant when she got married told me everything I needed to know.
I knew that already because I feel like she said it when she was a friend to the show.
Tisha was always a main character.
Oh, I'm thinking of Destiny shit.
No, not Destiny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it just told me everything, because it was like she had to go along with this. I mean, she didn't have to, but she kind of, doing things the right way and not wanting to be a single mother, like probably like Miss Wanda or, her family dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And she probably did love Marsau, but I'm not sure she would have married Marsau if they hadn't been pregnant, if she hadn't been pregnant.
Mm-hmm. But she also said that she didn't want to have kids so early. That's not the life that she saw for herself. And I was just like, girl, baby, that's rough.
Hate to see it. Okay. Hate to see it. I did feel bad for her though, because I was like, this is clearly like not what you had anticipated. And yeah.
I don't know that I feel bad. And so I have like an unpopular opinion, I guess. I don't know if I feel bad.
Please.
Because like you are at that time, they was college age. So like you are of college age, and like we went to PWIs. I also went to an HBCU, and I don't remember the HBCUs, they talk to you about like protection and making sure you watch yourself and using condoms and so on and so forth. And I don't, like young and dumb. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But like, if that's not something you wanted to do, then that's not something that you wanted to do, and you should have stuck to your guns. But seeing the person that she is today, I could see how it may have been a thing where he talked her into, like doing things that she didn't necessarily want to do.
Yeah, but
I still don't have no sympathy for that. I don't know.
I actually do. I actually have a lot of sympathy for her, because it feels like, yeah, it wasn't something that she wanted to do right away, but it's like once the ball is rolling, I feel like, especially if you want to have kids close together, like once the ball is rolling, you keep going. Like, I mean, obviously I don't have that experience, but I just feel like it feels like she now is at a point where she's like, she missed out on all of this stuff. And that's why she's always like asking him to go out and do all of this stuff, because they never had a young marriage, and they probably don't even know each other like that well as adults, because they got together so young. So the whole entire marriage, they have been parents.
I would agree. But I don't know. I'm weird about that. Just in the sense of like, no, hell, we know someone, and we talked about it the other day, who was out here in these streets the whole time he was in college. And far as I know, there was never any incidences of oops, baby.
I agree with you on that. But listen, I'm slow to judge people on like that part of your life, because it's so private. Like you don't know what happens, and like
True. I'm not judging. I'm just saying I don't the sympathy card. I don't get it. I don't have it.
I mean, that's fine. You don't have to, but I do. I feel badly for her that it seems like her life took a turn that she even wasn't expecting. So, kind of sucks.
I feel like that's just, I don't know. We be beating the dead horse. Let's move along.
No, it's fine. We disagree. I
mean, it's like, again, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Like, you fucking with no condoms, you gonna get a baby.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but you also don't know the circumstances. You don't know if she was on birth control. Like maybe she messed up her birth control. She did,
You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Oh my God.
No, I mean, plenty of people go years and years on birth control and unprotected, and they never have children. You don't know. There could have been years that she was on birth control, something messed up. Listen, all of these contraceptive things are not 100% accurate.
and are not, which is why
I'm always like, whoa, like I'm not gonna jump into that because we don't know if it could have been a failed situation. It could have been, we don't know the circumstances behind that. I'm saying for her regret and how she feels, how she seems to kind of regret how her life turned out, I feel badly for her now. And the fact that she's with this man who is very much doesn't feel receptive to her wanting to, you know, go back and capture those things, you know.
Oh my God. I don't know why this sent me so hard, but that sent me. I mean, it's true. It's true, but that sent me shit.
IUD babies, birth control babies, people get pregnant after they have tubal ligation. What is it? Tubal
ligation, yeah.
Yeah, ligation. Like people get pregnant under all kinds of circumstances.
I know one girl told me that her son came into the world with the IUD in his hand. I was like, what the hell?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you could be as careful as you want to. It's like, I don't assume necessarily that people are just out here wilding. Like, some people, yes, they are, but I don't jump to that assumption.
I mean, okay, I hear you.
So anyways, that's all I had on that. Oh wait, Maurice and his, I was like, how are you running an entire credit agency and also a law firm at the same time with a fresh law degree?
Money.
That's why he's going to be burned out. And I'm glad he's going to therapy about that, because that's a lot.
Like, he burned the candle at both ends. And
in the middle.
I'm like, what are you doing? And the other thing too is, it's like, I almost wonder, I feel like the law firm stuff was set in place before he had his licensure because of the credit side. So he might have already had lawyers that were working with him.
Maybe. I think he probably had his credit business set up because he had been working on that so long. So he probably has staff and stuff that are doing the bulk of the work. But it's like, when you are starting a law firm, especially with a fresh law degree, you need to focus on that. Like, you can't be out here just kind of winging it. You got to focus on that.
I'm curious to know. You know what? Maybe I'll do a couple of Google searches and see what we can find, because I'm curious. I feel like he probably had it set up in place already, and I would think that he probably had some lawyers like affiliated with his credit business prior to, for like legal purposes or whatever the case. You know, so maybe they were helping.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but it didn't seem like it was like just going to be credit stuff that he was going to be doing with his law
degree. That's why I was like, I think he might have had somebody already. Maybe. They just weren't in the position to like start their own, or they didn't want to, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
So
that, and then the other thing I had, I'm also glad that Tisha is continuing to see Dr. Francis on her own, because she needs it. And then there was one more thing.
I was irritated the fact that she was still expecting for Kimmy to show up for her or to do things for her that you don't do yourself for her. Like, you can't expect something that you're not also putting out yourself. That doesn't make any sense.
Definitely. Oh, and then Martell irritated the shit out of me, per usual.
Oh, Lord.
He just gets on my nerves because it's like he goes out of his way to be petty toward Mel. And it's like, even Marsau, again, this is how it works with these people. Like, is Maurice, he's probably a jackass if we had to compare him to people who really had their things together. Martell is absolutely broke. But then you have Marsau, who we know is very, very, very flawed, but he looks like the voice of reason compared to Martell's stupid ass. And it's like, with him in the whole melody and the building of the houses and all of that stuff, and now he wants to go partner with Marsau to make half the money. I'm like, just go partner with your ex-wife. Y'all build the houses together, keep it all in the family. You're providing for your children, and do it that way. And even Marsau was like, I don't know why he's over here. Maybe he should just go partner with Mel.
I do have a question though. Because maybe I misheard this, but I thought that Martell said that he and Marsau created Sculpt, which is why it's Sculpt.
They did.
So what happened with that? That's what I want to know. Why is it that you're not getting any dividends from a business that you helped to start?
I think I don't know like the backstory. I actually tried to find the backstory like a few years ago because I was like, maybe
that
like
name is
last
too
year.
close together.
Yeah, like the name was way too close together. So
Mel is clearly the brains and the
yeah. Oh, and going back to the point about Martell being broke, he definitely was talking to Maurice about a bankruptcy, which I did not realize was ongoing.
Yeah. That was happening at the end of the last season when they were going through their divorce.
Yeah.
And at that point it was like $280,000 like bankruptcy or something like that, because he made mention of it on the previous season. So I would imagine that was still going to be ongoing.
But I was like, while you were getting divorced, it never occurred to you like, hey, I need to be able to continue to do business. Maybe I shouldn't piss my soon-to-be ex-wife off, and maybe I should also go get my license? Never occurred.
His world was falling apart. I don't think he had time to be thinking about that.
Yeah, but you can't not.
He was being ripped to shreds in
social media. Nah, you can't not think about that when you have 4 kids.
I don't disagree with you, but he was like, 5 that we know of, right? And that he claims publicly, because allegedly on the blogosphere streets, he got other illegitimate children out here.
Wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised. But anyways, I think him going out of his way to partner with Marsau, because like honestly, with his credibility and their credibility together as a couple, they could probably build all of the residential homes, whereas they're only going to give Mel a fraction because her record is not proven without Martell.
Because she has to go and find the daggone builder
and the GC and all of that stuff, and then she's going to be probably dealing with people who are friends of Martell, and it's going to be like a conflict. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
not even friends of Martell. Those who are good old boys and don't think a woman should be in that business because she in the South.
That too, but all of her contacts are going to be through their Holt company, their Holt and Holt company. So, like, these are going to be the same people who are going to have the same conversations with her as Chris had, and had to go back and talk to Martell.
I think that he really shot himself in the foot with all of the dramatics and the pettiness and the carrying on, because if he hadn't have done that, I don't think that Mel would have dissolved Holt and Holt.
Probably
not. Like, they sat down and had that meeting, and she was like, I'm dissolving it because of whatever it was that he said, because I don't even think that she had gotten to that point yet, because the thing is, money is still there to be made on the table.
And they still got 4 kids together.
Right.
They got 4 kids together.
Right. Like, leave a legacy for your kids. Like, I don't understand. But, whatever. It's not for us to understand. It's not our lives. But I get that y'all needed to take time to separate and not be in communication as it relates to you guys handling your business. So in that instance, you could have had your employees meet back and forth, with whatever documentation or discussions that needed to be had that you all weren't in the place to have with each other.
Absolutely. So Joy just said he never thought that Mel would leave. So Martell never thought that Mel would leave. And I agree with that. He thought, we have 4 kids together. Where's she going?
She's gonna always be up under my thumb. Yeah.
And he still acts like she's under his thumb. And I'm just like,
she do too.
Did you not get? Well, I don't think so, because the way
because she like that the triggering conversation that we had last week, where I was like, it's giving a thin line between love and hate. Like, that's what I mean by she still acts like it too, because she's so easily ruffled by whatever he says or does.
Yes, but I think that's understandable. I'm talking about how Martell is always saying, stop saying that. Don't talk about, and like trying to direct her and trying to like talk to her as if he has any authority over her whatsoever. And she does not, and he does not.
No, not in that way, but he thinks he does.
But he thinks he does, and he still acts like he should be able to, whatever he says should go.
And that's not a reality. And I don't imagine that it was a reality when they were actually married.
I think it was. I think it very much was. I think their marriage probably looked a lot like Marsau and Tisha until he started acting crazy.
Oh, shoot. Didn't see that coming.
I mean, I do. They had small kids together. I mean, they still have small kids together. They had small kids. he was taking care of the stuff. He's even said it, like, she was a teacher. She wasn't concerned about like being in this building business or whatever. She was like a teacher trying to have an ordinary life. And she probably, until the money really started rolling in, until she really started meaningfully contributing to the business, taking the test, doing the things, she probably very much was more docile.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, do we got anything else to chat about? Any other reality recap stuff?
We have hit our hour mark. I think that's it for me.
All right. Well, friends, thanks for tuning in. If you have any more commentary, please add it as you're watching the replay. Yes. And we will see you guys next week. Make sure you follow us on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Black and Curious.
Thanks, Joy, for joining us.
Yes, girl.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.